When doing customer goods, you need to start with products. For some types of customer goods, you need both replenishment and depletion templates, and for some, you just need depletion templates. So you can use the same product for a replenishment and a depletion, or you can use separate ones. So the nice thing about doing separate ones is for like a finished product, the replenishment template can be all the specs to create the job, where the depletion can be as little as just the quantities allowed to be ordered. For shell stock, you can have a replenishment template that's all the specs of the job to create the shell, where the depletion template are just the specs to imprint on it. For customer supplied items, at the very least, you should have a press on your depletion template so that we have a place to attribute the income to. So working with customer goods, we go to inventory and customer goods. When creating new customer goods, you'll get brought up with the new customer good modal. Both the finished goods and the shell stock will show you the same fields. You can choose if they're prepaid or not prepaid. Prepaid meaning that they're going to pay at the time of the replenishment and deplete out at 0, and not prepaid means that they're going to replenish at 0 but deplete out at the appropriate values. You can technically fill out a name and description. It will always default to the name and description on the replenishment template, but if for whatever reason the customer good has a different name, you can enter it here. You can enter the location where you store these products and a minimum level that you want to watch for before you start doing reorders. When selecting a replenishment template, you'll only be offered products that are not currently replenishment templates. When doing a customer supplied good, you no longer have a prepaid option because that will be entered when you manually replenish. And you also have the option to pick a customer. For finished and shell stock, the customer is fed off the replenishment template, where a customer supply doesn't have one, so you can indicate which customer you want to use here. So in a customer good, when you come to the view page, you can see the details that you filled out. You can see the depletion templates. So most customer goods are probably going to only have one depletion template, but you could have multiple. So if you were using some kind of a business card shell that worked for more than one product, you could have a depletion template for each of the individual products. You can add notes, anything specific to the customer good that you would want to store here. As you start using your products, you can see last year and this year's usage and get a good idea of patterns and how much they're using. If there's any back orders for this product, they will display here. It'll be the actual item, the name, the order, and the quantity. And then you'll have your replenishment section. So whether it's a manual replenishment or it's one created from an actual replenishment template, everything will display here. And in the expand section, you'll actually see each item that depletes from it. So on all finished goods and shell stock, you have a one-time replenishment when it's created to enter in your current on-hand value. So you'd get a box that basically says the quantity and the price. So you'd enter in how many you have on hand and what the value is. If you are selling them out, if they have been prepaid, then you would just enter them in as 0. So because these are goods that you had before you were utilizing Document Manager, we obviously don't know the correct GL accounts or the allocations on when the item was created. So you just enter in the quantity and the price, and everything will be associated to the press until you do an actual replenishment template. For customer supplied, this option will always be available. This is how you will always replenish your goods. So if you're selling them out at 0, you'll put in the price is 0. If the customer actually wants you to collect income on them, and then you can enter in a quantity and the total price of them. And so whatever prices enter in is what they'll be depleted out. So if you put in 1,000 at $1,000, you'll see here that they're going to be depleted at $1 each. When doing replenishments and depletions, you use the goods dropdown. So clicking replenish will give you access to all the replenishment templates first for that customer, and if they don't have any, you can just clear it and get replenishments for all customers. Anything with the green icon is a replenishment template, and anything with the blue icon is a depletion template. So the same thing with depletions. You go under goods and you deplete. The menu will only show you products that, or templates that are for depletions. So if we go into a depletion, on the left, you'll see the name of the customer good with a link to it, what type it is, where it's located, and how many you're taking from each lot. So in the case of customer supplied, the lots are always going to be called manual. In the case of replenishment templates, the lots are going to be the item numbers. Potentially manual to start, but item numbers going forward. Going into edit mode and under details, you can actually see a breakdown of the customer goods. Now, most of the time, it's probably going to say just the full quantity and allocated until you change it to pulled, meaning that you actually took the items off the shelf. But there could be situations where you had some that you could have pulled, you had some that were back ordered, and you could have potentially some that were allocated as well that just came in. Each of these quantities can be printed on any kind of document, packing slip or work order. You can print the location and how much are back ordered, allocated, or pulled. So see on mine, my balloons, where they're located, how many that are good to ship, and then this is a replenishment template. So when doing a replenishment and a depletion, the replenishment has to be done on a separate order than the depletion for itself. If they're two separate items, they can be done together, but the replenishment needs to be posted and received in prior to being able to do any depletions.